the last heads of the Soviet Union went against the will of the people of the Soviet Union and broke that country into smaller countries. They just informed the people about that without asking them. And we accept that they probably did not understand what they were doing, and they did not understand the consequences this would lead to. But this is not important anymore. Soviet Union is no longer there. We cannot return to the past. And for Russia, we don't need this anymore. We are not aiming for that. But there is nothing stronger than the decisive will of millions of people who, according to their culture, to their language, believe to be part of Russia. For generations, they lived in a single country, and there's nothing stronger than the will of these people to come back to their historic roots. For many years, the people in Donbass were subjected to genocide and shelling. And in Kherson, they tried to cultivate hatred for Russia. And lately, Kiev regime threatened death and punishment to teachers. And they were threatening repressions to the millions of people who supported Russia. But people from LPR, DPR, and Kherson and Zaporozhye expressed their will. The real masters of Kiev regime in the West need to remember this. People from Kherson, DPR, LPR, and Zaporozhye become our citizens forever. And we call upon Kiev regime to immediately cease all military actions and the war that they began back in 2014 and come back to the negotiation table. We are open to this, and we stated that many times. But people of Lugansk, Donetsk, and Kherson and Zaporozhye, we will not discuss these areas because they made their choice. And today's Kiev authorities have to respect the expression of the will of these people. And this is the only path to peace. We will protect our land using all our forces, and we will do everything to ensure people's security. And this is the great liberating mission of our people. We will, of course, rebuild all destroyed towns, and we will build hospitals and theaters and schools, and we will continue developing infrastructure and industry. We will ensure healthcare and pension support. And of course, we will increase levels of security. We will do everything for people in these regions to feel the support of all republics and all parts of this large motherland. Dear friends, colleagues, I'd like to address the soldiers and officers who are taking part in special military operation, to warriors of Donbass and Novorossiya, who also joining military after the partial mobilization, those who volunteered to come to the recruitment centers. I would like to address their wives and children. I'd like to say why they're fighting there, who is the enemy that is against us, who is creating new wars and crises to make profit out of them. Our compatriots, our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, part of our people, saw with their own eyes what the leading circles in the West are preparing for the people in the world. And they have expressed their true nature in there. and we will not. Back in 1991, the West believed that USSR will not come back, or Russia will not come back from that blow. And we had this awful 1990s. And however, Russia withstood that and became more powerful and took its deserved place. And but the West is looking for new opportunities to hit us. And they always dreamt about breaking our state into smaller states who will be fighting against each other. They cannot be happy with this idea that there's this large country with all their riches, natural riches, and people who will never live under foreign oppression, and they are prepared to do everything using this neo-colonial system to rob all other countries in the world. And the whole humanity has to pay them some dues to this hegemon. And they've got this cruel motivation, and that's why they are very aggressive towards independent states. They're aggressive towards traditional values and cultures. They are trying to undermine international and integrational processes and new centers of technological development. It is critically important to them so that all countries surrender their sovereignty to the United States voluntarily. Some countries voluntarily agree to do this, and they voluntarily agree to become vassals of these states. Others are being destroyed and bullied. And after this, there are millions of broken lives and areas of social disturbance and so on. The only thing they want to have is their profit out of this, their greed, their desire to keep their unrestricted
talking in Moscow at a ceremony to annex 4 regions of Ukraine: Luhansk, Donetsk in the east, and Zaporizhia and Kherson in the south. If you want to continue watching that, we're going to live stream that statement. But we're going back to our top story here on Sky News, and that is the conclusion into the inquest of the 14-year-old, the death of Molly Russell. We're going to hear now from Sir Peter Wanless. He's the chief executive of the NSPCC. Baroness Bevan Kidron, she's from the Five Rights Foundation. The Russell family solicitor, Molly's dad, Ian, Ged Flynn, who's the chief executive of Pyrus, and Victoria Hornby, who's the CEO of Shout. So they're just giving us an idea of what to expect throughout that press conference. And those are the people that we're going to talk to. Molly Russell's dad there on the right, the far right, he's been key in the fight for justice following the death of his daughter. She was 14 when she died in 2017, and we've heard from the coroner, Andrew Walker, today, who has ruled that, let me get that ruling up for you, the conclusion.